Hello students, this is your teacher Yasser, and today we are going to learn about indices. Indices is basically a power. Okay, you represent indices as powers. What is power? What is base? Let's just look into that. Okay, you know that base means the bottom number and the number written as a superscript that is known as power or index. Okay, indices or powers are a way of expressing repeated multiplication. Indices means just the plural of index. So repeated multiplication. What I, what do I mean by repeated multiplication? Since, for example, if I have same basis 2 times by 2 times by 2, these are same basis, right? So their powers are going to add. Means you add the indices of them. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So 2 power 4 will be your answer. Means you add them instead of just writing 2 by 2 by 2, you can write 2 cube. As I earlier told you, this 2 is the base and this superscript 3 is the index. Let's look into our next problem. Multiplication of indices. As we earlier seen that when you multiply same bases together, powers are going to add. Like 2, 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay. And 2 power 7 is 128. Okay. You can use your calculator in calculator based exam to find the answers. And in non-calculator exams, if you have to evaluate, for example, you have to evaluate 2 power 3. It means you will multiply 2 together and get the answer. 2 power 2 is 2 square is 4 and 2 cube is 8. Between you have to learn square numbers and cube numbers till 15. Okay. So in your non-calculator exams, you have to learn square numbers till 15 and cube numbers till 15. That will make your exam more easier. Next law, division. For example, you have some in books we can say that when you are dividing the same bases you are basically subtracting. Okay, that is correct, but some students struggled when there is a negative power in the denominator. For example, if I have am over a minus n, then what happen? Since you have to subtract, then subtraction sign and again a subtraction sign and then you place n, and then you will say that the a power will be m plus n. That's correct, but instead of doing this we will just restate the law. Okay, what is the restatement of this law? The statement is that when you move from numerator to denominator or from denominator to numerator, you have to change the sign of the power of the index or power. Okay, what I mean by that, for example, you have 5 6 divided by 5 square. Since this is positive, you are sending this on top, the sign will get changed. 5 6 minus 2. Okay, another example, basically in most cases you are bringing the power to the bigger power. For example, if I have 5 square over 5 6, now I will try to send this 2 in the denominator. Same basis, remember that the basis should be same to apply the rules. Okay, if the base is not same you can't apply the rule. So 2 goes down and 2 minus 6. Now 2 minus 6 makes what? Minus 4. You get my point? That if you are moving from numerator to denominator or from numerator to denominator, you have to change the sign of the power. Okay, like for example, if I do 5 power 6 and 5 power minus 3. Now since it's minus 3, when it goes up, I have to change the sign of it. It will become plus. Now some students say, sir, where is this law then, that when you have same base and in division you have to subtract the powers? Yes, you are subtracting, but there is a hidden sign of subtraction here. You can see, when if you write it normally, you will write 6 minus and a minus 3. That will make 6 plus 3. So instead of doing these two steps, you directly do that. Whenever you are moving from numerator to denominator or denominator to numerator, change the sign of power. Okay, change the sign of power. Let's look at one more example. Let's say 2 power 3, 2 power minus 3, and 2 power 5. I want to move this minus 3 in the denominator. Okay, so we have learned, if we have same basis, we can send the power directly by changing its sign. So let's change the sign of this minus 3, because this minus 3 is replacing its position. So it will become plus 3. So 1 over 2 power 8, right? Let's say again 2 power 3 and 2 power minus 5. Now I want to bring this minus 5 on top. Means wherever you are moving it, you just change the sign of it. Okay. Just remember it, whenever you are changing the position means that from numerator to denominator or from denominator to numerator, you are changing the position. Whenever you change the position, change the sign also. 2 power 8 is the answer. Okay. So that is the second law done. Now let's look into the third law. We will do all the laws and then we will go to exam style questions. So in the part 2, we will discuss about exam style questions. A power m bracket n means what? That when you have a bracket, that law is known as power of a power. Okay. So when you have a bracket, you multiply the powers together. Okay. So like for example, 4 square times by 3, this 2 is going to be multiplied by 3 and you will have a 6 as a power, right? Like in this case, 2 times by 3 is 6 and 3 power 6 is your answer. Okay. Remember that if there is no bracket, if there if the bracket is missing, not if the bracket is not there, or you can say if the bracket is uh, missing, then what we do? Then 3 square cube. Now you will cube this 2. Okay, means 2 times by 2 times by 2, which is 3 power 8. Now let's have a look what change the bracket is making. When there is a bracket, your answer is 6. When there is no bracket, your answer is 8, because this power is going to be treated as the power of 2. Okay, this power is going to be treated as a multiplier with 2, right? You have to multiply this 2 with 3, but in this case you have to power this 2 with 3, right? This 3 is a power of this 2. Means if the bracket is missing, that top power is the power of the bottom number. Okay, so remember this thing. Next part, zero index. What is zero index? Zero index means that power is 0. Okay, anything raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. Now most students will ask, sir, why? Reason. The reason is, if I say 7 divided by 7, what's the answer? It's 1, right? Why answer is 1? Because you can see here the power is 1, here the power is 1. When you bring this 1 on top, you have to change the sign of it. 1 minus 1. Now 1 minus 1 is what? 0. So therefore 7 power 0 is 1. It means you are dividing the same number with itself. Okay, when same number divide by itself, the answer is always 1. Divided by itself, the answer is always 1, provided the bottom number should not be 0. Provided bottom is not equal to 0. Denominator should not be 0. Okay, so you have to learn these type of rules. Now negative indices. Negative indices means, as I already, this is not a new rule. This is already you have learned that, for example, a power minus m. You have to bring this into denominator. Okay, so whenever you are changing the position of anything, you have to change the sign of it. A power m minus m will become a power positive m. Okay, okay. One thing more, I think some students get confused with this idea, but let me just tell you. For example, you have 3 power 3 times by 2 powers 3. In the denominator, you have 3 power 2 and 2 power 1. Now you just want to bring these two on top, right? We know that the easier way to do this, that you just bring the power up, 3 minus 2, right? Same base, you can subtract 3, change the sign. This is positive and it will become negative 1. But some students don't get it. So what they do, 3 minus 2 is 1, 2. Okay, that's your answer. So some students, what they do in this type of questions, when they are bringing it on top, they will write it like this, that 3 cube, 2 cube times by this 3 square. When goes up, it will become 3 negative 2, and this 2 1 will become 2 negative 1, right? So some students do it like that. That's also correct. Now the first rule is applied, that same basis powers added in multiplication. So 3 minus 2, same base, powers added, 3 minus 1. Again, your answer will be the same. Okay, so that same rule is applied over there. What's the rule applied over here? Is that you are changing the position of this 2 cube. 2 minus 3, when you change the position and bringing it into denominator, it will become 1 over 2 cube, which is 1 over 8. Next law, fractional indices. In Sir's video, I have already shown you that what fractional indices means. So if your power is half, it is termed as square root. If your power is 3, 1 over 3, it is termed as cube root. If your power is 1 over 4, it is the fourth root. Means that this bottom number is telling you which root it is, which type of root it is. Okay, that's what fractional indices means. Okay, so for example, 9 power half, what you will do, you will take a square root of 9, which is 3. Cube root of 27, so 27 cube root can be written as this, 1 over 3. This means that you are taking a cube root of 27, which is 3. Now sometimes you have a top number also and a denominator number also in fraction indices. Like if I give you 27, 2 over 3. So basically what you are saying is that 27 is 1 over cube, and outside the bracket 2 is written. So you take a cube of this 27, means whatever the bottom number is, you take that root for this number. The answer is 3. Cube root of 27 is 3. And then the top number indicating that what power you have to use after that. Okay, so then you use this as a power of the answer. 3 square is 9. So sometimes this also happens, which I already told you that how to tackle this type of thing. Next, some practice questions. 2 cubes times by 2 5, that gives you 2 power 8. 5 power 6 minus 5 power 3 means 5 6 divided by 5 cube. You are sending this 3 on top, it will change the sign. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now you have to multiply it together. 2 power 4 is 2 times by 4 is 8, 3 power 8. Anything raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. I told you the logic also, that 10 divided by 10, that it means that 10 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, and therefore it's equal to 1, right? Any number divided by itself is 1. So that's what the logic on power 0. 4 minus 2, it means 1 over 4 square. 4 square is 16, so 1 over 16 is your answer. Okay. 16 power half, fractional power. Fractional power means that square root of 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So that's how you will get this answer. Next, summary to these questions. What we understand in this, that same powers, same basis, their powers are added. Same basis in division, you can shift the power and change the sign of that. Okay, means you can bring it, this am over an. If you want to bring this m over there, you will change the sign of it, 1 over an minus m. Okay, or if you want to move this n on top, then you can change the sign of n, m minus n. Okay, so this is basically the easier rule. Now multiplication means that the powers are going to multiply in brackets, like 2 2 4. It will become 2 power 4, 2 times by 4, which is 8. So 2 power 8 is your final answer. But if there is no bracket, like 2 2 2, then what happen? This 2, this serves as 2 power 2, which is 4. Okay, let's say 2 power cube. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, then it serves as 8. Understand? If there is a bracket, then the same will be 2 power 6. Okay, if there is no bracket, the answer is 2 power 8, but if there is a bracket, this answer is 2 power 6. Sometimes they just ask in GCSE exams that what it is, so you have to know this. A power 0 equals 1. As I earlier told you, anything divided by itself gives you 1. Minus sign you can convert into positive by changing the position. Fractional index, that's what we have learned, that this denominator is basically telling you that what type of root it is. Okay, now in higher maths calculus, some students may ask, sir, why 0 power 0 is undefined, or why 0 power 0 is not equal to 1. It's because when you can't divide 0 by a 0. Okay, you can't divide 0 by a 0. That's why I said that this rule is true only for the numbers, like for example 7 square. This rule is true for the numbers only, because 7 divided by 7 is 1, but 0 divided by 0 is not equal to 1. Okay, therefore it is undefined. So that's the law. Okay, that's the law for this one. In the second part, in which I will tell you how to solve exam questions. Okay,